Hi, my name is Jeremy Kevitt, and I am chairperson of the newly established Board of Management of Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. I'd like to warmly welcome you all to this live stream this evening, and it's our virtual open evening. Okay, we are live streaming to Facebook and YouTube, and if you're watching us live or if you're watching the recording later, I hope you find our virtual open evening informative and also entertaining. I'm going to introduce you in a moment to Donal Evoy, our school principal. So Donal will be the main host for this evening, and he will give a short presentation, and following that, he's going to be inviting contributions from some of our pupils, our parents, and our staff. And I'm sort of reminded that it was about this time last year that we had our first information meeting just before we were awarded patronage of the school. And it was just myself and I think a principal from another Educate Together secondary school were involved that night. But we have a much bigger team behind us tonight. And I think in our previous meetings, what we were speaking about was mostly aspiration, what we would like to see or what might be able to be achieved. And I think in the few short months that the school has actually been opened, we've achieved a great amount. And I personally am looking forward to everybody telling us what they've been up to and how things are going in the school. So the meeting should last for about 45 minutes. And to end the meeting, we're going to show you our new information video that was recorded in the school recently. So we'll hope that you'll stay for the end of that. Thanks to everyone who has sent us in questions during the past week. And I think what Donal and the team have done is they designed the presentation and the contributions around the questions that we were asked. So we hope that most of, not all the questions that came in will be answered tonight. We have had some questions about our admissions process. So just in relation to that, so applications are currently being accepted and the closing date for receipt of applications is the 12th of November. We will be offering places according to the admissions policy shortly after that, within the next week. Full details, including a link to our online admissions portal, is available from our website, which is www.blackrocketss.ie. Now I'm going to put those links into the chat on Facebook and YouTube, so you'll have them. And we'll also run both of those addresses as a ticker along the screen at various times during the meeting. Just mention chat then, so you can leave a comment or post a question or just even say hi to the chat function on whatever platform you're watching us on. And I'll be keeping an eye on that throughout the evening. And if an opportunity arises, we'll try to answer any questions that come in that way. So listen, thank you very much for your interest in our new school. And I'm now going to introduce Donal Evoy, our principal, who's going to be our host for the rest of the evening. Hi, Donal. Good evening.
Thanks very much, Jerry, and good evening, everyone, and thanks for taking the time to tune into our virtual open evening. I'll share a short presentation with you in a minute, and then I'll introduce some of our colleagues, students, and parents who will tell you about our school. I'll start off by telling you about our ethos and curriculum. Our Deputy Principal, Simon, will talk to you about teaching, learning, and assessment. Our Spanish and PE teacher, Sarah, will tell you about the extracurricular program on offer in the school. Miriam, our English and history teacher, will talk to you about some interesting wellbeing initiatives that we provide. Then Christine, our parent nominee on the Board of Management, will talk to you about the school from her perspective as a parent of a first-year student. Then finally, we'll talk to two of our students, Gabriella and Theo, who will tell you about Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School from their perspective. So just in relation to our ethos, as an Educate Together secondary school, our ethos is underpinned by our Educate Together principles. We are multi-denominational. Students from all backgrounds are welcome at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. We are democratically run. All of our stakeholders have a say in how the school is run, including teachers, students, and parents. We are co-educational. Boys and girls attend our school. And we are child-centered. Our mission is to provide a student-centered education that helps every child to achieve their potential. We have built our school around this child-centered approach, and our diverse curriculum is designed to cater for all kinds of learners. Methodology is important to us, and we know that active learning methodologies help students to engage fully with their learning. Inclusion is a key principle for our school. Every child is welcome at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School, and we want every child to flourish and succeed here. The ethical curriculum is another key part of Educate Together Secondary Schools, where students learn about being responsible and active citizens. The promotion of student well-being is an important part of school life here at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. And Miriam will talk about some of the well-being initiatives we have in place here in the school. Formative assessment is a key part of our student-centered education. Our belief is that students learn best when they know exactly what steps they need to take to improve their learning. Our extracurricular program is another important part of school life at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. We all know that extracurricular clubs can provide students with interesting and fun opportunities, and Sarah will tell you about our extracurricular program later on this evening. And finally, our child-centered education is underpinned by democracy and student voice. We want our students to have a strong voice here at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School and a strong sense of belonging to their school community. And later on this evening, two of our students, Theo and Gabriella, will tell you about their experience on the Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School Student Council. So you'll see our curriculum on the screen at the moment. Our core subjects are English, Irish, Maths, History, Science, Spanish, PE, CSPE, SPHE, and Ethical Education. Our option subjects are Music, Geography, Business, Art, Home Economics, Wood Technology, Graphics, Applied Technology, and German. And our short courses are Coding, Philosophy, Artistic Performance, Digital Media Literacy, Horticulture, and Debating. Short courses are like subjects, but as the name suggests, they are shorter, whereas you study most subjects for 2 or 3 hours a week. You study a short course for 1 hour a week, and there are no final exams when it comes to short courses. They are assessed in a different way. Now, we had a question from a couple of parents about the modern foreign languages that we offer, or that we will offer in our curriculum in 2022-2023. As you can see there from the screen, our core modern foreign language is Spanish. And the reason for that is we consulted with our parents in the springtime of our present first year cohort, and the vote, a significant majority opted for Spanish on the curriculum. As a new startup school, we're not in a position at this particular moment in time to offer both Spanish and French. But in time, we very much would intend to offer several different modern foreign languages, including Spanish and French and German. But so for the moment, I can confirm that Spanish is our core subject. Spanish will be our core subject in 2022, 2023 as well. And Sarah is our Spanish teacher, and Sarah actually teaches German as well. So we can also offer German on our curriculum too. So Terry is going to join us now in a moment. So Terry, can I just check in with you there, Terry, that you can hear us okay there?
I can hear you, Don. Can you hear me?
And can I just confirm that I'm not sharing my screen anymore?
I can still see your screen. Yes,
I can see you. Say it again.
I don't see your screen. I can just see you.
Okay, that's grand. Okay, thanks, Terry. So Terry, can you tell us a bit about your own subject background to start with, please?
Well, first of all, good evening, everybody. My name is Terry Halpin. I'm a technology 4 teacher in the school, which means I teach applied technology, wood technology, and graphics. And as Don was mentioning earlier, it's 3 of the optional subjects that we have. So we have 9 optional subjects on offer and in Blackrock Educate Together. So how it works is students follow a 6-week program, and during that 6-week program, they will study a subject for 2 weeks, and then the following, after those 2 weeks, they will study another band of 3 subjects, and then the following 2 weeks of get the final 3 subjects. So all in all, they get a chance to sample 9 subjects over an 6-week period. And what that does is that allows them and informs them to be able to make a decision whether to pick a subject that they're interested in and go forward. And it's part of our ethos of the child center approach, where students get a choice and and they're able to decide what is that they're interested in, and they're able to pick it for their junior cycle program. As well as that, we have 6 short courses on offer, and students get the opportunity to pick 2 out of the 6. So again, they get the chance to sample all these subjects, what they like, what they're interested in, and it gives them a well-informed decision. And it seems to be quite popular with the students this year at Blackrock Educate Together.
Thanks, Terry. So as folks would have seen a short time ago, we have music, geography, business, art, home economics, wood technology, graphics, applied technology, and German in our option band. But if I was just to ask Terry another question there for a moment about the option part of our curriculum. Terry, I'd say folks who've tuned in, they'll know about most of those subjects there. Perhaps they might not know about applied technology. Could you briefly tell us about applied technology? Because we know that you study the T4 subjects, you teach the T4 subjects, you teach metalwork, which we don't have in the curriculum. It's the only one of the T4 subjects we don't have. You teach graphics, wood technology, and applied technology. Could you tell us a little bit about applied technology, please?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, applied technology involves students studying materials such as wood, plastic, and possibly metal. And what they do is there's an element of electronics in it. And as the name suggests, technology, we look at the history of technology and what inventors have contributed to the world and how it's an ever-evolving subject. If I was to break it down, it'd be something like metalwork or woodwork with electronics. But it's a very exciting subject that we have on offer to students, and it links in with the other T4 subjects. So if a student chooses to apply technology and graphics, one subject will complement the other because there's a certain amount of drawing and design in it. But basically, students are able to make their own project, design their own project, and at the end of the day, they're able to bring it home.
That's great, Terry. It sounds a little bit like woodwork with wires. Would that be fair to say?
To the layman, yes.
Okay, thanks, Terry. So now over to Simon. So Simon, can you tell us a bit about your subject background and your experience to date as Deputy Principal of our new school?
Thank you very much, Donal, and good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us on this venture. So my name is Simon Rogers. I'm the Deputy Principal here in Blackrock Educate Together. My history would be I started out life as an Irish and an English teacher in several South Dublin schools, Closhtown, Mount Amble, Sancta Sabina, etc. And over that course of time, I've had quite a number of diverse roles, from a GAA coach to a tutor, a class tutor, to a year head in schools, to TY coordinator, to musical director, and some guises. So a vast level of experience, and I'm looking to bring that again into Blackrock Educate Together for this year and beyond. In terms of my experiences here in Blackrock, a couple of key points that struck me already in this burgeoning community, and really how child-centered we try to be here at Blackrock, really offering an authentic student voice and a student choice. And we've already discussed that there in terms of our taster program, where students are afforded a responsibility to take subjects that they enjoy and that they prefer and select it on. You're going to hear more about our fantastic student council later on, but really we prioritize the student voice and the parental contributions that come with that to build a community together, as opposed to us being overly dictatorial. Arising from that, I think, Blackrock Educate Together, we really have a strong sense of community. We've had vision evenings where we've invited parents in to help guide us around our mission statements. We've had social awareness programs where we've contributed towards sponsored walks to get into the community as well, and really show that we're representing Blackrock, Booterstown and Dunleary. We're not just a school hiding in isolation, that we're part of the wide world out there as well. And that ties into the goal of character that we're looking to set here with our students, where the students are already demonstrating how confident they are, how courteous they are, how polite, but also that sense of civic responsibility and personal responsibility, where they take control of their own learning and they engage with us as teachers, as educators, but as people, to really combine and collaborate together to build a worthwhile venture here in Blackrock Educate Together. But fundamentally, I think the idea of intellect being a core goal of any school, where high quality teaching and likewise high quality learning is taking place, where students can feel confident to take ownership of their learning, to come work with us as educators to set priorities and targets for themselves, and we'll offer supports and buttresses there to make sure that they can achieve their full potential.
Thanks, Simon. Simon, in terms of methodology, it's a very important part of our approach to teaching and learning, the idea of taking an active learning approach. Could you elaborate on that, please, for folks who've tuned in tonight?
Great. So, I mean, a lot of schools will say, they prioritize high quality teaching and learning. What that looks like here in Blackrock Educate Together is really we prioritize the active learning approach. And that's where students can learn not only through, sometimes traditional lecture styles work, but really we want to see students engaging with course material through debates, through group discussions, through role plays, through sometimes being physically involved in the class, moving around different areas of a classroom or different areas of the school to access modules that really excite them and engage them. And in that way, we try to be innovative and try to be dynamic in what we do. And I'll talk a little bit more about technology now in a second. But yes, there are some tried and tested methods that work quite well. But we're always trying to reinvent the wheel a little bit. We're always trying to be a little bit different here in Blackrock Educate There. And that might manifest itself, as I say, in maybe cross-curricular activities, reaching out and working with different schools in a virtual environment, to try and share best practice and share the learning. And we'd always be looking to strive to, stay on the edge, stay on the cusp, and research different methods to really bring the curriculum and bring it home. And obviously, we'll listen to students and what works best with them, and also we'll listen to the parental contributions as well as to what's working well. But always we try and keep pushing to the fore and keep pushing the boundaries, because what we're really looking to do is we're trying to strike the balance between 21st century skills that are necessary, but also kind of buttressing that with a broad knowledge base as well, so that they're not seen in isolation. That we want to arm students with the core knowledge that comes with the specifications of the junior cycle, and then equip them with the skills to be able to access that both with ourselves as a school, but independently as strong and vibrant learners. We also cater towards a differentiated approach for our students. We have some students who are extremely high achievers, and we look to provide extension tasks to them. For example, in my role as an Irish teacher, I would have 1 or 2 Gaeilgeoir students coming from Gaelscoileanna, and I'm looking to push them on and drive them to the fore and not letting them rest on their laurels. And likewise, sometimes we might have students who have additional educational needs, and that could be something as simple as their eyesight might be poor, so therefore they must be butchered with notes or with technology to make accessibility features more central. Or it might be a little bit more, in terms of a student might be dyslexic, and therefore we have different methodologies to cater for them. So really we try to cater for a broad student cohort there to make the specifications and the curriculum available to everybody at their own level, to ensure that everybody can achieve to their own potential. But really all it's about in terms of high quality teaching and learning, it's about working together as a team.
That's great. Thanks, Simon. Simon, folks who tune in this evening, they might be interested in how we use iPads in the school. We know that you lead the iPads in the school. Could you perhaps elaborate on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so in terms of technology, as I said, technology, it's a tool, it's an aid, it's not the be-all, end-all in any school, but it's definitely a tool that we can't ignore, and I think once it's used correctly, is really beneficial to students. So obviously there's the benefit of, and parents and students will be delighted to know that it really reduces, the school bag weight, so that you're not constantly trudging back and forth, with a broken back every day. But really it helps as an organizational tool, replacing, 14 hardback folders and different, schemata for organizing notes. It can all be contained in one device, using OneNote features and Teams features, etc. It means that the idea of forgetting the copy kind of goes away very, very quickly. There's also a myriad number of apps that we can use to support the learning. It also streamlines communication, that if a student is absent, they can access the curricula while they're out, especially in extended periods of time such as COVID. It also means that as a school we can be very, very flexible and adaptable, so that if there are school closures owing to the current pandemic and beyond, that we can switch to an online and virtual learning model, so that we don't really miss a beat and that students can stay connected. And it's arming them with the skills again to pursue that in the future as they approach college. But really, again, it's in terms of streamlining the communicative cycle, that there's no bits of paper in the bag or notes in the back of the journal, that we can all stay focused on the one true message of high quality teaching and learning, and that can be reflected back in terms of how we report to students, how we report to parents, how feedback becomes a circular process as opposed to a delayed paper and audit trail. And again, that comes down to how we collaborate as a staff. If you wish me to elaborate on that.
That's great. Thank you, Simon. Simon, just in terms of assessment in the school, I suppose assessment is very central to the way we approach teaching and learning in the school. Traditionally, assessment was something that used to come after teaching and learning, whereas all the research indicates that assessment should be a central part of how we approach teaching and learning. And this is something we're very cognizant of at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. Could you perhaps tell people who tune in tonight the different reporting moments that are dotted throughout our school year, please?
Great. Well, one of the first things we did when we established Blackrock Educate Together was to establish a teaching, learning and assessment team to really prioritize assessment as part of the learning process. Assessment isn't just you complete a test and you get a grade and that's it, you're done. It's used to inform future teaching and future learning to, point out the possible development points for students and, for the teaching model, and then to drive that forward into the future. So we here in Blackrock have 4 key moments throughout the year where, formal assessments can take place. And at the moment, we're in the middle of our Halloween reporting module. And this is where we take current assessment, where students are completing class tests or extended pieces of homework and assignments, etc. And they'll be getting feedback on that in class. But informally now, this week after midterm, we're reporting back on the student progression, the student learning using a comment-only feature where we're not assigning grades, we're offering development, we're offering feedback, and it opens the communicative channels between home and the classroom. Now, following that, at Christmas, in our winter exams, there'll be a more traditional exam-based model because we are, participating in a system with a junior cycle and leaving cert ultimately at the end of the day. So to train students up in terms of terminal exams and all the logistics that come with that, we would follow a traditional winter Christmas exam-based model. Now, where I think we do something a little bit different, a little bit more dynamic, is that for our Easter assessments, we would offer oral assessments for most subjects. Now, again, from an English and an Irish point of view, which would be my personal background, that can be very easily catered for in terms of, especially from a language point of view. But I think that's a little bit different around maybe history or science, where a student will have to talk through an issue, talk through a problem, and explain using an authentic student voice, how much they've gathered from this specification and the curricula, and be able to portray that, one-to-one in a bit of an interview style setting. And that's really arming students to be confident in how they respond to the wider questions of the world and to build up their confidence and I think a sense of ownership of the learning. And then again, at the end of the year, we would have a summer assessments on a more formal traditional terminal exam, again, just to embed those key skills of being able to sit an exam. So all of these reports that we're offering would be a formative feedback is what we'd say. And we tailor the feedback individually to students. It wouldn't be a drop-down menu saying, pleasure to work with in class. There's quite detailed reports that go home from every single subject teacher, and that would go to parents and to students, and it would begin the discussion cycle around what's working well, what can we improve on, and take it from there. And that's buttressed as well by we would have a parent, teacher, and student meeting as opposed to just purely parent-teacher meetings as well, because there's no point in omitting a student from a conversation about their learning. So the three of us as the key stakeholders, the school, the student, and the parents and guardians would come together to discuss reports and how can we progress for the future, etc. But as I said, that's really a priority of our teaching and learning team, and we want to come up with similar initiatives throughout the future to really prioritize assessment, teaching and learning. And that as well will be reinforced by peer observation within the school, team teaching models within the school as well, where we're devising team and then thematic based weeks as well, where students get a chance to have formal learning in the class, but co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, and that's all predicated by current research into the best pedagogical models and methods that are being developed at the moment. So this discovery based learning is something that we want to embed in the school, but also be able to report and be able to evaluate the efficacy of that. So it's data based and it's evidence informed. We're not just going off on a whim, but we're following best practice for the betterment of teaching and learning within the school.
Thanks, Simon. Thank you. Simon introduced himself there by listing some of his accomplishments and some of the interesting things that are part of his CV. One thing he didn't mention, and the football fans who tune in this evening will be interested in this, that Simon is an official FIFA referee. He's hung up his whistle temporarily because he's too busy now in his new role as deputy principal of our new school, but maybe you'll go back to it sometime in the distant future, Simon.
It sits over my shoulder calling me, as I say, in the background. But
So listen, Garamila, Simon. So we're going to welcome Sarah now onto our screen there. Thanks, Sarah. And Sarah, can you just tell us a little bit about your subject and sporting background, indeed?
Yeah, no problem. So hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm the modern foreign language teacher here at Blackrock. My core subjects are German, Spanish, and English as an additional language. And then more recently, I've been studying the area of special needs education. So I'm part of our ASD team here. But that's not it. I'm also part of our PE department, the joys of being part of a growing school. I get a wide variety of subjects, which I love. I'm part of the PE department because I have a very keen interest in the area of sport and well-being personally. So outside of school, I'd have a very strong sporting background across numerous sports, but most recently it would be part of the kind of growing ultimate frisbee community we have here in Ireland. I've also been an active member on Team Ireland in both a playing and a coaching role. So I'm hoping now to bring that love of sport and especially frisbee into Blackrock Educate Together.
Thanks, Sarah. And Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about the extracurricular program and offer in the school, please?
Yeah, of course. So my interest in sport and wellbeing has kind of led me to be involved in the area of extracurricular and the development of it here at this school. And I'm really happy to say that we offer a wide variety of activities for our students. We have clubs running 5 days a week. So lunchtime clubs on our longer days, and then on our half day on a Wednesday, we have after school clubs as well. So at the moment, there are 13 clubs on offer to students on a weekly basis. These include sports such as basketball, frisbee, Gaelic and football skills. We have a girls' active club, as well as a golf and table tennis club. Our table tennis club currently are getting brand new tables thanks to our sponsored walk that Simon mentioned earlier to Dunleary, which has helped us to provide the equipment for the school. In addition to that, we have other clubs like we have art club, science, debating, ukulele club, while our journalism and new media club have just compiled and printed our first school newsletter recently. And like I said, all of these run on a weekly basis. And then in addition to that, we also have a monthly book club, which Miriam runs for us. So there's a real spread of activities available already in our first year. And then just to finish off on that, we also have our student council, which Donal has mentioned and Gabriella and Theo will talk about in a little while. Our Green Schools Committee is also up and running, and we have more to come with our Model United Nations in the plans for later on in the school year. So a lot happening here in terms of extracurriculars.
That's great, Sarah. And on Wednesday afternoons, if you pop into our school, you'll see Sarah and the students very busy running around playing ultimate frisbee. And I think, Sarah, a few of us hadn't heard of ultimate frisbee, but we're very familiar with it now. And it's a very energetic and demanding game. And maybe being from Mayo now, you could fly the flag for Mayo now in ultimate frisbee.
Oh, maybe. We'd be good at something then.
Thanks very much, Sarah. And we'll talk to Sarah again in a short while just about her role in supporting students with additional needs. But we're going to chat to Miriam now for a minute. Hello, Miriam.
Good evening, Donald. Good evening, everyone. Nice to be addressing everyone this evening.
Thanks, Miriam. Miriam, can you just tell us a little bit about your subject background and areas of interest, please?
Sure. So my academic background is English, history and politics, subjects that I'm very passionate about in and outside of the classroom. I have a background also in social justice education, which is something that attracted me very much to working in Blackrock Educate Together, as this is something that really permeates the school, both formally, as was mentioned earlier, through the ethical education curriculum, but also throughout the whole decision-making process in the school. So as Sarah was mentioning previously, one of the joys of a new school is that you really get to teach a variety of subjects. So I also teach CSB, ethical education, and also an exciting kind of venture this year, debating as a short course. Don was alluding earlier to the short courses as a different model for junior cycle. And we're delighted to see we've had a really big uptake in the school of students who are interested in debating, in really trying to grow that student voice, and that we're really interested in promoting and to help the students to present themselves as our articulate young people. So that would be my day-to-day teaching background. I'm also very interested in music and I play cello, so I am always delighted to help out with any musical activities in the school also.
Yeah, Miriam has discovered since she joined the school that myself and Simon are very good at identifying people's hidden talents. So you'll perhaps meet Miriam in the not too distant future at a ceremony playing the cello. You're very modest, Miriam. I know you're a champion cellist.
don't know about that. But
Miriam, can you tell us about some of the wellbeing initiatives in the school? So I suppose alongside the core business of teaching and learning, we're also very aware of the importance of promoting student wellbeing in the school, and we've had some nice initiatives since late August. Can you tell us about a few of those, please?
Sure, yeah. So we've kind of a two-pronged approach to the wellbeing initiatives in the school. There's the more formalized approach where you would have a wellbeing coordinator, and we have an umbrella system really where we would have the wellbeing coordinator, tutors who would touch base with the students every morning as they come into school at 8:30. Also a place for students to go and talk one-to-one if they felt overwhelmed during the day, etc. So there are all the supports that are there, as well as the other wellbeing subjects for junior cycle, SPHE, which is social, personal and health education, CSP, and as Sarah mentioned earlier, we have a very vibrant sporting and PE community. So 2 hours of PE also would be a part of that. But probably, I think if you talk to the students, they won't be referring to the curricular wellbeing classes. They will most definitely refer more to the more informal parts of the wellbeing program, but we would argue that are equally very important. So these are the type of initiatives that we try to create in the school in consultation with the students, which is very important for us, that we're not making decisions about what the students are doing without actually asking the students, well, what is it that you feel would assist you, would help you, would give interest to other students within the school. So, for example, we have had a great adventure day in Boltonglass in Wicklow with great canoeing and kayaking and rock climbing. We've had sponsored walks. We also have themed weeks where we try and bring to the fore different subjects. It might be an international languages week, it might be maths week, a sporting week, literary week, all of these kind of initiatives, again, just to give a bit of a buzz around a topic out of the classroom. And I suppose also to go back to that discovery-based learning that Simon alluded to earlier. However, I couldn't talk about all the wellbeing initiatives without mentioning what is probably the strongest attraction point for our school so far seems to be the pancake mornings, which we have had one of already. This was championed by our principal, Donal, which resulted in, I think, about 80 pancakes being made by frazzled teachers at about 8:10 in the morning. But again, while it is a bit of fun, it also has, I suppose, fundamentally underneath it quite strong foundations in wanting to encourage these relationships of a friendliness and openness between staff and students. We also have had staff and student lunches where our vice principal went beyond the call of duty and was seen coming into our school with multiple Domino's pizza boxes, but where students and staff get to sit down side by side, have a chat, even though we do address each other by our first names, but even to get away from that teacher-student relationship as well, and just to have a chat as normal people, which is also super to have. We have a very active student council as well. I think what is very prominent in our school is the importance of student voice and including students in decision making, whether that's at a board level. We have students who will attend that at times, or on trips decisions, or on other bigger issues that come up throughout the year. We also at the moment we're just embarking on a new kind of exciting adventure in a big debating competition in the Educate Together schools in general. We've about 19 schools taking part. It's a very vibrant learning community. But again, I suppose bringing that idea of student voice to produce articulate students, critical thinkers, all words that I suppose we hear in the media a lot and in educational research, but we're really trying to do this very much on a day-to-day level so that students will have these tools.
That's great, Miriam. Thank you very much. So we're going to join Christine now. Now, I know Christine was having some technical issues earlier on, so I'm just going to check in with Christine that you can hear us okay, Christine?
Yeah, I'm here. I hope. Yes, I can hear you okay. Thank you.
That's great. So Christine is a board and management member in our school and a parent of one of our first year students. So thanks very much for joining us this evening, Christine. So Christine, can you tell us about your experience of the school so far as a parent?
Yeah, I'm very happy to tell you about my experience and also my son's experience in Blackrock Educate Together. So my son tells me that he's really happy in the school half an hour before school starts to make sure he has time to talk to the other students and the teachers. He tells me that he feels his opinion is really valued. He doesn't feel scared if he wants to say something that somebody might make fun of him. He says that everybody can be who they are. And he also tells me that if there's something he doesn't understand in school or in class, that he doesn't feel shy anymore to ask a question, but he can ask the question and the teacher will explain it in a way that he can understand it really well. So I mean, I have to say that's quite an impressive achievement for any school, but particularly for this school, because let's remember that on the 31st of August was the very first day and that this school actually came into existence. So I think it's a brilliant achievement to have created an inclusive environment that makes the student feel valued and just a happy environment. And I also have to say that for the first time ever, my son participates in an extracurricular club. So he's in the book club and he's also in the Frisbee club. So that's also quite impressive, I think, that he felt in such a short period of time that he wanted to join these clubs. So my personal experience dealing with the school, I have to say I'm very impressed with Donal and his team. From the very beginning, we parents have been communicated with regularly. We had online Zoom meetings where we parents even were invited to make decisions. And I think that's what I would like to say to anyone out there. If you are thinking about maybe should you choose this school for your children, what is brilliant is the democratic element in the school. And it's not just a word, it is really, I think, a lived experience. So we parents were asked on an online meeting, we got on our mobile phones, we got an app sent where we could vote. So we all voted to choose the name. So the original name of the school was Booterstown, Blackrock, Dunleary Educate Together. And we felt that that was quite lengthy. So all the parents voted and we decided on the name Blackrock Educate Together. And likewise with the compulsory language, there was a choice between French and Spanish, and the students and parents together, we voted for Spanish. So I think these are two examples how in a very short period of time, we parents and the students were actually actively involved in decision making in the school. So I would say it's a very impressive achievement. It's a really great school. I would definitely endorse the school, so would my son. And what I would like to say to anyone out there who is listening this evening, maybe you are wondering, should you send your child to a school that is housed in a temporary building? And I had that same exact thought when we were wondering where we should send our son. And we do know that the school has a site, it has been purchased, and a beautiful big new school was built in Blackrock. But I want to assure you that the temporary building is a very nice building. It is comfortable, warm, and welcoming inside. So do not worry about that aspect. It is definitely a great school to choose for your sons and daughters. So back
Christine, thanks very much, Christine. Thank you, Christine. Thanks very much. So we're going to go to Terry now again. Hello, Terry.
Hi, Donal.
So Terry, we were chatting to you earlier on about the curriculum, and people learned a little bit about you, that you teach wood technology and other construction related subjects in the school. So yeah, I suppose wearing your construction hat, you have some unique insights into the plans for the permanent school. So can you tell us briefly, please, about the permanent plans for the school? Maybe the location of the school and what the building is going to look like.
Yeah, so the new school will be located at Albion House, so it's not too far from Cornelscourt. It's designed for 1,000 pupils. The plans can be seen on the planning website, but we also have a link on our own website to direct you to it. It's a very impressive building. From just looking at the plans, it caters for all the subjects that we're doing now and additional subjects. It's also there's a lot of student areas, so there's a lot of space that you would probably see at third level. These kind of little areas where there you've soft areas like bean bags and stuff like that, so for students to hang out in. Recently in the National Development Plan, the building is at a stage 2B detailed. So what it means is that the site has been purchased, planning has been applied for, it's been sent back to the architects to modify the plans, and the next stage of the build is to send it out to tender, which will be part of the rapid build program, which basically means the school would take 18 months to build. So all in all, hoping things going well, 2025 is a date that we hope to be in. But again, we live in an uncertain world. COVID has proved that, but it looks very positive going forward. So everything's in a row. Our ducks are in a row, and hopefully, as we said, 2025, a few years down the line, we could be in our new school building.
Thanks, Terry. Now, Christine talked about the temporary location. Terry, just even from your own point of view, as a teacher, could you comment maybe on the functional nature of the school, that it's, that we have good facilities there and that we have everything we need there? I mean, you've created a woodwork room out of an ordinary classroom and so on. So look, we're very good at improvising here at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School. But could you describe, I suppose, the classrooms a little bit for us? Again, a bit like Christine, just to reassure parents that we're in a good site, and that everything that we need for teaching and learning is there at our temporary site.
Yeah, no problem. So when you hear the words temporary accommodation, you automatically think, right, well, what's it like? What's the build like? Well, I have to say, hand on heart, as a temporary building goes, it's the fact that it's got a mixture of a new building and an old building. But the first thing that impressed me was when I first went into the building was the amount of space and the amount of rooms that we have. So we're lucky in that sense, and we have we're very fortunate to have a staff in the school that once we have a blank canvas with the rooms, we've got science rooms, we've got a home ec, art rooms, music rooms, and in my own subject, we've got a graphics room and a wood technology room, which wouldn't normally be the case in some temporary accommodations, but we worked our way around it. We as teachers look for solutions. We don't look for problems, and we look for ways. And the students have been fantastic, and have came along with us. The fact that we're able to offer our traditional core subjects, 9 core subjects, plus the 9 optional subjects, plus 6 short courses. So all in all, about 26 subjects we are currently offering in a temporary accommodation. The fact that we're outside the catchment area, we have a school bus that can collect the students from Blackrock, Booterstown, Dunleary, and the school bus itself seems to be quite popular with the students. They get a chance in the morning to meet up with each other just before school starts. The Sandymount Dart station is only a 5-minute walk away, and we're very fortunate. Myself and Sarah in PE are able to use an all-weather 4G pitch, so it doesn't matter what the weather is like the night before. The fact that we've got access to these facilities down there, and touch wood, since the start of term, we've always been able to use the PE facilities. So we're very fortunate in that sense, and I can't thank Donald and Simon enough for all the help and support getting us to this point.
And Terry, there's been a lot of nice things said about me and Simon tonight. Can you confirm now you haven't been paid a fee now for saying these things tonight?
Well, I've asked for a fee, but I didn't get a fee. No, not at all. No,
okay.
We're all in this together, folks. So we work what we can to provide the best education for our current students and prospective students.
Thank you, Terry. And just to confirm, folks, the site, as Terry was saying, it's Abilene House. It's on Newtown Park Avenue. It's the White Cross end of Newtown Park Avenue. just in relation to the bus, there were some questions about the bus from folks who emailed in. Somebody asked there, where are the pickup locations for the coach to the temporary location? What is the coach timetable? That's available on our website. If you click on our website, you go into the section about the school. One of the options there is for the school bus, and then we have the route then listed there. It basically goes around our catchment area. It goes Dunleary, it goes Blackrock, Booterstown. So we designed the route with the parents of our present first years in mind. So it's working out very well. And because we're outside of our catchment area at the moment, the department fund that service for our families. So thanks to Terry for all that information about our accommodation, both temporary and permanent. So that brings me on to our student representatives here today. So do I have Gabriella and Theo? Hello, Gabriella, and thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thanks. And Theo, thanks for joining us. How are you, Theo?
I'm good.
That's great. And listen, we really appreciate you joining us this evening. And maybe your mom is there as well. Gabriella, is Mariana there maybe somewhere?
No.
You don't. That's fine. And then is your mom there? Is Rochella there, Theo?
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Well, your parents are welcome as well. And thanks for joining us this evening, folks. So, Theo, we're going to start with you there. Can you tell us about what you like about Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School so far?
Well, like, the teachers are really nice, and they're really we use like the first name basis on them, and so it's like a personal connection with the teachers instead of just like the teachers being people only there to educate you. They're there as like they're more personal teachers, and they're really inclusive, and like if you don't understand something, like it's fine to ask a question.
That's great, Theo. And Theo, look, we know you were very active in the student council elections. Theo is the treasurer in the student council in the school. Theo, did you enjoy the student council elections that took place in October?
Yeah, the student council elections were really interesting, and they started with like a speech from each of the students. And then the students put up posters and tried to convince the other students to vote for them. And on the actual physical election day, the voters went into the polling room. They got a sheet of paper. They numbered the candidates 1 to 12, and it was done by proportional representation, which we learned about in CSPE class.
Brilliant, Theo. Very good. And Theo, I think you enjoyed the campaign, did you?
I did, yes.
I think a lot of people are saying now we could see you in Dáil Éireann now in 10 or 20 years' time now with all the brilliant campaigning you did. And Theo, what do you hope the Student Council can achieve at Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School?
Well, one of the longer goals of the Student Council is the visuals of the school. So personalizing the school to the students and to the teachers and making it more our school instead of just a school.
Sure. That's great, Theo. Listen, thanks very much, Theo. I'll just check in with you again in a couple of minutes, but I'm going to chat to Gabriella for a couple of minutes. So, Gabriella, can you tell us about what you like about Blackrock Educate Together Secondary School, please?
Well, I like the sense of inclusivity the school brings. Like Theo said, when you're in the classroom, when you have a question and you don't want to raise your hand, the teacher always say, you can talk to us after school. And it's also always really nice that you can call them by their first names, because it's like we're working together. If you don't get this, we can work together to make it better. Instead, in other schools, you just need to like get extra work or just do it. In this school, they explain, they try to make it like comfortable. It's really, really nice.
That's great. Thanks, Gabriella. And Gabriella, are you enjoying your experience in the Student Council?
Yes, I am. I really, really like it. I like that like our voice is being heard and is being appreciated, because we are the students. We really like we're going to come to the school for 6 years. I think it's really important what we think and the way that we put ourselves out there. And I really like that this school appreciates that really well. And then when the student council, we can do that a lot. We can have discussions and we can bring a lot of things forward.
That's great, Gabriella. Thank you. And I think it was Theo mentioned the kind of first name basis. But yourself or Theo can answer this question. Just to tell folks back home about the dress code and the uniform and all that, how that works in the school. Do you want to take that one, Theo?
The uniform for the school, like, there is none. There's no uniform. It's just you can come in basically whatever you like. There are a couple of restrictions, but like, just don't do anything stupid and you're fine. And then like there is obviously a first name basis with the teachers, which makes you feel much more included than, per se, I did in my old school, because it was just like Miss this, Mr. that. Instead, you can call them Simon or Donal or Sarah, and it makes it much more personal and much better.
To you for a moment, Gabriella. I think you're zooming in here from Brazil, aren't you, Gabriella?
Yeah. Yep.
The question that's in everyone's mind here is, what's the weather like in Brazil?
It's really sunny. I'll try to show it here.
Right, okay. That looks nice now, Gabriella. So we're all very jealous of the sunshine over there in Brazil, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week, Gabriella.
Yep, coming back.
And listen, okay, so Gabriella and Theo, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Okay, and we'll see Theo in school tomorrow. And we know Gabriella is visiting family in Brazil at the moment, and we will see you next week, Gabriella. So listen, next we're going to talk to Sarah again. And we're going to talk to Sarah about how she supports, the school's approach with supporting students with additional needs. So Sarah, as she said earlier on, is one of our lead teachers in our ASD class. So Sarah, could you maybe explain to folks who have tuned in how our ASD class works in the school, please?
Yeah, of course. So like Donal said, I'm one of the teachers in our ASD class, or our Connolly class, as we like to call it. The class is designed to help our students that are enrolled in it to succeed both academically and socially in a mainstream school setting. And we also would work on helping prepare students to be active members of our society in general, both now and when they finish school. In terms of logistics, then, our class can hold up to 6 students. There will be 2 SNAs assigned to work and to help the students in terms of organisation, transition between classes, entering and leaving the school premises, and making sure that all of that runs smoothly. And then in relation to the teaching staff, we currently have 3 core teachers working in the class that would spend the majority of the time with the students, either in the class itself or as an additional teacher in mainstream classes. And then we also have some other subject specialist teachers come up to help out in the class for subjects such as numeracy. In terms of the design, so the room itself is designed and organised primarily to be a learning environment, but also to provide a kind of a safe place for students who may have some additional challenges when attending school, and may need an adapted learning environment for specific reasons. So with this in mind, the room has been equipped with specialist furniture such as desks, and also with some sensory equipment to ensure that the learning environment is a productive one at all times. Just kind of following on from that then, we do work on an inclusion model here at Blackrock. So that means our goal is to have the students in mainstream as much as possible. So at the moment, our students are primarily in mainstream classes, with some additional classes taking place in our Connolly class. It could be things like communication and literacy, numeracy, some social skills and life skills classes to help that integration and just help the success in the mainstream setting. And then obviously those lessons are, they're individualized. So we look at students' priority learning needs and then tailor their timetable around that so that they can succeed in our school. So that's most of the information, I think. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's really insightful, Sarah. Thank you. And for anyone listening this evening or tuning in this evening, if you have a question about anything Sarah mentioned there, or indeed any of our colleagues this evening, you can contact the email address that's been going across the screen during the course of the evening. That's office@blackrocketss.ie. And so that really brings me to the final part of our presentation this evening, and that's just to thank everyone who's taken the time to tune in this evening. We really appreciate it. We hope you've found it an enjoyable and informative evening, and hopefully we'll meet everyone in person in the not too distant future. So Garamila Ma give August Slán, and Jerry is going to, I think, share the screen, and he's going to conclude by showing you our video that's available on our website. Thanks, Jerry.
I do journalism, Girls Active Club, debating, basketball club, and I do also Gaelic and soccer club. We just did a language week, which was really interesting, where everyone kind of taught a piece of their language or some of their culture.
I really like the clubs because it's a more casual way of learning, but you're still learning things.
The Wednesday clubs, there's a frisbee, art, debating, science.
As part of Active Week, as a school, we went to Baltinglass and we did kayaking, rock climbing, archery.
When you're joining a new school, new community, you know, there's that sense of adventure, that sense of daring.
It's a really special opportunity for everyone involved, and that's parents, students, teachers.
It's been fun to be part of innovation at the coalface and building something for the future.
We create an inclusive school environment where students have a strong sense of belonging in their school community.
I learned that everybody's opinion should be heard, no matter who or what they are.
It's very, very friendly. All the teachers and the students are all equal.
They have a sense of community, a sense of citizenship, a sense of their place in society.
What's really great about Blackrock Educate Together is that we have so many choice of subjects.
They've been doing taster modules, so we offered them 2 weeks of each of their 9 choice subjects.
And that kind of informed them if they wanted to pick the subject or if they don't want to pick the subject.
We're very fortunate here in Blackrock Educate Together that we can offer, you know, a broad-based curriculum. We have obviously the traditional subjects of English, Irish, your modern foreign language, but we also offer a broad range of practical subjects and that really offer a different alternative approach to education here in Ireland.
Values, the idea of ethics, ideas of perspective, so that might be looking at world religion, worldview, something that's kind of mainstreamed through the whole school in general.
I think what I really liked was the inclusive ethos of the school, irrespective of background or ability, so that was really important. Students' opinion is also sought, which is new. Like certainly for my son, he's not used to being asked his opinion in that way, and then to see that it's actually happening.
We have just established our student council, and we want to see it develop as a really central part of school life.
Student council is really cool because it showed the kids like how to do like politics and also competition and stuff, banners and the posters and stuff to try to get people to vote for you and stuff like that.
We want student voice really to permeate every aspect of school life and the decision making here.
They come together and they say, we have an idea for lunchtime club, can we do that, Simon? And I say, yes, we'll facilitate that as best we can.
The ideas that the students give back to you or their approach, and they make me think as much as I would direct them.
My first time working in a school where they call me Alice and they don't call me Miss Brennan, they don't say Miss or Sir, which really helps build relationships in the school.
Every lunchtime there's something going on, so you're involved and you get to meet the kids outside of class as well, which is a great way to help build a relationship.
You're here to learn, I'm here to help, you learn this together, which I think is very important when you're learning.
Teachers here, for example, if you don't understand something, you can just ask them at the end of class.
As long as they're they're enjoying what they're doing, they work to their ability. As we say, try, make mistakes, you know, and there's plenty more timber we can use again. You know, the best thing is that they get out what they put in.
We have a wide range of students from different backgrounds. It's really nice, it's quite diverse.
Every day, you know, our staff come with a smile on their face. They greet the kids very, very warmly in the morning to welcome them to class.
We want every child to achieve their potential in school. We want every child to experience success.
Students who are extremely courteous and polite, that we could all feel part of this community.
They involve the students a lot. It's an all-around great school.